I'll concede that I'm very nervous because this is actually my first time at a TEDx event. I've seen quite a lot of it. So yeah, I hope I do well. Pardon if I slip up. But I'm really, really pumped about sharing my life journey with you. I'm sure most of us, like me, have actually Googled what exactly Shuhari means, right? So I'm not going to get into what Shuhari is. I'm sure all of us have done our bit. But while I was reading about Shuhari, what is so wonderful is that it so happened to connect with my own life. That very discipline, that philosophy. I like how these young kids were generous enough to say that I'm an advocate of compassion. I think it happened over a period of time. But one thing that I very firmly believe in is owning your roots. And when I see that thing there, it really warms my heart. So keeping Shuhari in mind, I just want to share my 2 bits with you. Let's begin with Shu. The concept of obeying or beginning, right? We've all had that moment when we've all started as young kids, as professionals. My journey started way back in 2004. I was only 16 when I started off professionally as an actor. The reasons I actually started acting at that young age were to support my own education, to be very honest. I also wanted to sort of help my family through certain challenges. But one thing was very clear, that I always wanted to be an actor. So I took that plunge. I got into television at the age of 16. I was so naive, you know, and in hindsight, it's almost embarrassing to share this with you, that one of the reasons why I actually started acting at that age was to support my education and my family, and not for the love of the craft. I was very young at the age of 16. Craft क्या होता है मुझे कुछ पता ही नहीं था. I was like, अच्छा, मुझे महीने के इतने पैसे मिल रहे हैं, मैं इससे अपनी पढ़ाई करूँगा, मैं आगे जाऊँगा, कॉलेज जाऊँगा और मैं एक मोबाइल फ़ोन खरीदूँगा. So when I started off with acting, the first day I very clearly remember was 19th of December 2004 in a bungalow called Graphic House in Mud Island. I almost loitered in on the set, thinking, Arey, I always wanted to be an actor, and here I am. I'm going to act, you know. My first moment in front of the camera was so embarrassing. I did not know the A of acting. The director was very experienced, and I was blasted in front of 100 people there. I was almost thrown out of the set. A lot of people don't know this thing. I've actually never spoken about this in the public domain. I wept and wept and wept, and we had to actually stop the shooting process. A couple of people came up to me and they said, oh, it's okay, you know, this is your first time, it happens. And I actually wanted to go back home. I said, I don't want to do this, I want to go back home. But after that experience, I realized it took me a few days to sort of understand what lighting is, to understand what camera is, what lensing is. I began my journey to learn, like most of us. I wanted to understand the technicalities of the job, how to hit a mark, how to take a light, how to say your dialogues. And so began my journey in 2004. I had to obey the discipline. I had to understand the discipline. We all know how competitive the entertainment industry is. I got very disciplined with regards to the engagements that I had at that point in time. We all know this is a very expensive industry. There is a lot of investment that goes in. And suddenly I realized my priority was not the money that I was earning to just pay my college fees, but to be worth other people's money and time. I self-educated myself about acting. I met a lot of co-actors. I really chewed their brains off. I was lucky enough to spend a lot of time with veterans. And that's how my journey began. And I realized very young, in the first few months of my job, or my passion as a professional actor is that I need to obey that discipline. As I said, that it is a very, very competitive industry. We all know that most people in our country either want to be cricketers or actors. The moment you look behind, there is a huge queue of people wanting to replace you. And then began my ha moment, which is the detachment moment. I kind of understood the discipline, I obeyed the discipline, I wanted to sort of be very sincere, and the idea was to have a sense of longevity in my career. I always wanted people to see me as a good actor. My ha moment came in the year 2007, and it was not all planned, I got the biggest opportunity of my career then, was a TV show for which I had to go to Baroda for 2 years. I was just 21. I dropped out of college for a couple of years because of that show. And when I went to Baroda, a different state, a different city, it was almost like living in a hostel with a lot of other people, actors and technicians there. That was my automatic detachment moment, my ha moment, wherein I had no family, no friends. All I had to do was work. And it was not a 9-to-5 job. Most people, hum sabko aise lagta hai ki, oh my God, these actors have such wonderful lives, right? They are popular, they make a lot of money, but there is no start hour to the job. Most people don't know this. We work, even today, at an average, we work 14 hours a day. Yes, there are certain perks attached to it, but it is also attached to the hard work that goes in. So going back to my ha moment in Baroda, I was away from my family. Extreme summers would reach around 50 degrees Celsius, and I was doing a daily soap at that time. I started off my journey as a television actor, like how most of you know. So we had to deliver 5 episodes a week, 7 days a week. There were moments wherein we are shooting at 2 o'clock in the afternoon to air the episode at 8 p.m. That's how challenging it was. I didn't choose that. And in hindsight, when I look back at my ha moment, I'm glad it happened. Because the amount I learned in those 2 years, I call it my grinding moment. The longest I actually shot there was 110 hours, which is 4.5 days. Because a co-actor met with an unfortunate accident and I had to step in, I had to work. Most of my learning happened during those 2 years in Baroda. I continued respecting the profession, I continued obeying the disciplines of the profession, but also detaching away from my family, from my safety net. I learned quite a lot. I made the art form my own. I kept self-educating myself. I still am. But I'm glad that moment happened, and I think hum sab ke saath hota hai. Knowingly, unknowingly, and unfortunately, mostly it happens in hindsight, in retrospect. So I really want to tell the young students who are here, please be in the present. When I look back in when I look back at my teenage, or probably my early career days, there were a lot of things that I wish I didn't do. And that's how you unlearn. That's the process of learning and unlearning, willing to go out there, fly, fall, get up again, and go out. I definitely believe in the word restart because it keeps moving. It is the absolute truth of life. We all have to restart from time to time. And lastly, my re-moment, mastering a skill. I concede that I'm yet to be there. I haven't mastered my art form. I haven't mastered anything yet. I'm just about to probably, I don't know, just about to probably enter that phase of my life. But what Shuhari actually means to me is, if I have to draw a parallel, I would say, think of a slingshot. We all know what a slingshot looks like, right? Why owning your roots? Why owning your roots like that? It's because no matter what you do, and this is what I very, very strongly feel, You are bound to have your shu, your ha, and your re moments, and you must definitely have it. But what also you need to be very cognizant of, like a slingshot, is to have your roots at the right place. No matter how far you go, especially the young students here, no matter how far you go, you guys are the future of the country. But keep your feet, or at least 1 foot, on the ground. Hold that slingshot steady so that it comes back to you. Coming back to me, my re-moment is yet to happen. I'm still educating myself, still learning, still exploring, still evolving, hopefully. But mastering is a long way. But one thing I certainly know, like I said, keep your 1 foot on the ground. Be rooted. Own your roots. And when I say own your roots, I'll share an anecdote from my own personal life, which unfortunately keeps happening almost every week to 10 days. Whenever I meet young actors or aspiring actors who come from small towns, a lot of aspiring actors come from small towns. We all know that. The ones who are just sort of wanting to get into theater or TV or movies, I try sharing whatever I can in my limited capacity with them. What actually breaks my heart, and I use this word very carefully, what actually breaks my heart is they pretend to be what they're not. वो छोटे शहरों से आते हैं, उनको लगता है कि इतनी बड़ी माया नगरी मुंबई में आ गए हैं. They start talking in a different way. They start wearing clothes in a different way. They overall start behaving in a very different way. And that bothers me. And I tell them one thing. India is a nation of 1.4 billion people. There are more than 100 billion stories in all of us. You have a story in you. I have a story in me. You have a story in you. Why are we pretending to be what we are not? Why are we not willing to own our roots, our own reality? And here I would also want to share something which, again, in hindsight, makes me realize, why did all of us, or most of us, like 12th Fail? Whoever has seen the film here, I'm sure you felt something here. It's because you saw your own self, or someone you know, or someone you've heard of. And lastly, before I go, owning your roots is something which I really, really hope, especially the young kids, you have the future. You are the future. Go ahead, conquer the world, but do not forget where you come from. Own yourself. You have your own story within you. A story which resonates with a lot of other people. Don't pretend to be what you're not. And lastly, be kind. I don't want to sort of make it very sad and morose. I just want to say one thing. What is that one inevitable thing in life which we are absolutely certain about? We don't know what's going to happen, say, in the evening. But there is one inevitable thing that we all know of. What is it? It is death. We are all going to go. So the least you can do for your people around, for your elders especially, for your younger ones, is to be kind, is be nice. And in your journey of Shuhari, when you are in your ha and re moment, especially when you feel, oh my God, I've arrived, I've done it, I've mastered whatever skill set I had to. As I said, like a slingshot, look behind, be rooted. Don't demean someone. There are so many other people who are going through a lot of things in life which you are not aware of. Only if you were kind enough to open up your hearts and theirs, you would realize the commonality between you two. So be kind to each other, because all of us are going to go. Empower each other. And yeah, and that's all I would want to say, especially to the younger kids here. Thank you so much for having me here. It really is truly an honor. Thank you.